The person that we supposed to be honest to, we're aligned so dearly because we don't know ourselves. We don't understand who we are. See, the person that you want to be honest with is the person in the mirror. But oftentimes, how are you supposed to do something if you haven't been taught how to be in tune and intentional about everything that you do? But see, the process and the journey in life is so overwhelming because when it becomes difficult, this is when we forget about ourselves. See, we want to love the world, but we're not loving ourselves like we want to give out love to others. How are we supposed to love when we don't understand how to love us as a person? But see, here's the thing. When you be honest to yourself, you understand everything about you as a person, as a human, as a person that's growing into a new version of yourself. But you can't grow if you don't learn. And when you don't learn, that's when you forget about yourself. But as you're forgetting about yourself, this is when the moment of depression kicks in. This is when depression becomes reality because there's so much going on. We don't even know how to control it because we haven't worked to understand it. See, when you're honest to yourself, you really learn every detail about you as a person. But when you're honest to yourself, you become kind to your past. So for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to be speaking about why being honest to yourself is so important and why you should start working on yourself today. Because if you don't work on yourself, nobody's going to give you the effort and energy that you don't give the same amount of effort for yourself. But here's what's happening. Your effort is what creates your worth. Your worth is built by your level of confidence. So when you're honest to yourself, you believe and see and understand that you come first. Here's the thing about life. It teaches you lessons, but we don't understand the lessons that are being presented because it's not time yet. It's not time to understand what's been told today. Why am I saying this? Because oftentimes we have to hear things multiple times in order for it to register. Like, oh, I heard that last week. Oh, I heard that the month before. That's crazy. I was just talking to somebody about this exact conversation. But you need to continue to hear the same exact topic, the same exact wording, the same exact meaning behind the growth. See, what's happening is that when you start to work on yourself, new language is being brought to you to help you understand more about who you are as a person. The thing about the lessons is that we often miss what's in front of us because we're not ready to accept it because it's not our time yet. It's so special to feel this, to understand this, and to grow. Because if you're not growing, that's when we miss the lessons that we're supposed to learn. And it's crazy. So every time I go to the gym, I'm always speaking to people. Regardless of the fact, I'm always just speaking. As I'm speaking, I let people be seen. Custom and courtesy, right? Custom and courtesy. Whenever you see somebody, you speak. Whenever they look at you, you speak. But oftentimes, majority of people don't speak because it's not ingrained in them. And it's crazy. Before I went to the military, I knew that. But as I was in the Marine Corps, I understood it a little bit more. Because here's the thing, when I was in boot camp, I remember this one time I was cleaning. And when I was cleaning, I was sweeping with my head down. So as I'm sweeping my head down, the drill instructor is walking around messing with people saying, okay, cool, you didn't get a proper greeting, go to the front. So I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it at that time, at that moment when it was presented. Because it hit me 4 years later when I actually did that and I was speaking to people just to show them custom courtesy. Oftentimes we do things and we don't understand where it comes from. Mind you, I knew how to speak and kind of communicate before I joined the military because I was raised by a single mom. And she taught us how to be independent. She taught us how to be independent and how to strive for everything that we want to achieve. But what's so special about what my mama did, what Vidivet did, was that she ingrained the independency in us. She ingrained that. And all the times when when you're taught something when you're taught differently from others don't understand the person that you are today. When I realized that custom courtesy applies to everything in life, because you have to communicate with people, you have to speak to them, you have to see them, you have to show them that I see you. This is where you become honest with yourself. Because not only are you honest with yourself, you become more understanding of what people are going through, and or if they are dealing with something at their current moment in time. But life is happening for us, not to us. But when we understand why it's presented this way, we begin to grow and learn something that we ain't never took time and effort to learn. I had to learn myself. My mama taught us independency, which is absolutely okay, absolutely phenomenal. But what about independency with knowing yourself? What about taking time to learn everything about who you are as a person? That wasn't taught. I had to learn that over time. Again, she did a phenomenal job. She did an amazing job. And the job she did, I understand it was so much to go that goes on behind raising kids by yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. She did have boyfriends, right? But even then, it's like when a woman is raising their kids, raising their sons, they do everything for them in order to show them what they can become. A woman can only do so much, which is absolutely the best. But a boy has to learn how to be a man for men that's around him in his environment. So when you're honest with yourself, you start to realize why things are happening for you. When I joined the military, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, because I knew I wanted something different. I knew I just didn't want to work at something I didn't enjoy for the rest of my life. I remember this one time, before I joined the military, before I even made my mind up of joining, I was working at Walmart. When I was working at Walmart, I was working at produce. And I was stacking the items, and then for some odd reason, some not even odd, some amazing reason, it hit me. I just looked around. Nothing's wrong with working at Walmart. Nothing is ever wrong with working at Walmart. But I didn't see myself working here for the next 20 years of my life. And at the time, I was only 18 or 19. So then I started to figure out, what do I need to do in order to change my current situation? The only options that I had was to go to college, was to join the military. And that's about it. That's about it. I didn't know the information that I know now, but prior to me joining. This was something that came to my mind, because the best way to get uncomfortable is to do things that will make you think before you act. And I was thinking, what is the worst case scenario of me joining the military? Out of all branches, what is the worst case scenario of me joining the Marine Corps? Now, I was in contact with a National Guard recruiter, but I just didn't. The vibe wasn't there, right? I didn't feel a connection. I didn't feel the understanding to even join the Army. I wasn't doing it. Okay, that's what it was. I didn't want to go to the military. I didn't even have no thoughts or ideas of even trying to figure out how to even go. But it taught me a valuable lesson. In order to change your current situation, you have to realize the phase that you're at today. Why do you... Oh, I didn't charge the battery? That's wild. Why do you feel the need to learn new information when the information is not in front of you? You need to learn it. You should learn it, because it's going to give you something better to do and learn and walk into. I'm gonna charge this. This up. Hello. Don't die on me now. Don't die on me. Please don't die on me. Hold on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now we back in action. Okay, I got now it's charging. Okay, now it's charging and still recording. Let's get it. Hey, listen, you have to be able to improvise on the move, on the go, because you're used to being uncomfortable. You used to figure things out right on the spot because let's just say hypothetically speaking, my other camera went dead. If it went dead, then I would have to did the video all over again. But see, here's what's happening. When I'm able to identify the problem, the solution gets presented. What was the solution that I just figured out right here? My computer is right here. My camera is right here. I have a long cord that I can plug into my computer and plug into my camera and still continue recording. But I had to get uncomfortable to learn that when life happens, how do I control what I do and how I react on it? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't even know about. But what's going on behind the scenes is a lot of work that's being developed within myself. I could have stopped the camera. I could have. And charged it up. It then started back recording. But oftentimes when you sit back and think and see and evaluate the situation, your answer get presented as you going along the journey. But that when it happened, if I wasn't honest with myself. There's a process behind everything. See, what's happening is that it's a circle of life, right? One thing that you learn in this area of life, you can apply it in the next situation, right? But it doesn't stop happening. You have to learn how to accept the good with the bad, learn the yin and the yang, and let the yang be the yin. What's happening to you is happening for you, but oftentimes we don't see the lesson that's right in front of us. Because we're not honest with ourselves. Why me? Why did I have to go through that? We automatically think that we're not good enough in order for us to grow. How come you're not good enough? How come you think negative about yourself? Because I was once there. Because I wasn't honest with who I was. I wasn't comfortable and confident in everything that I stood for, because everything I stood for wasn't my own values. Wasn't my own personality. It wasn't my own knowledge. It wasn't my own experience. But I had to go through life. I had to do things that was really I was really unaware of, but it made me grow so much because I had to learn how to handle the unknown. See, when you're honest with yourself, you give yourself grace. But I had to give myself grace and learn how to do this by switching what I was saying to myself. Why am I not good enough? Or how can I become good? What do I need to learn in order to be confident enough to even try? Who am I around? What am I constantly hearing? What am I constantly doing? Is what I'm doing preparing me for my future? Am I comfortable? Am I stagnant? Am I complacent? Only you know this answer because you are honest with yourself. I know this answer because I am honest with myself. And it's so important to identify what you're going through and what you're dealing with at this key moment. Because oftentimes we can't change what's happening for us. We can only pivot in a different direction. But when you're pivoting, what's happening? You're pivoting to gain more control over yourself because you're honest with who you are as a person. You're honest because you took the time to learn yourself. But see, honesty builds patience. And see, when patience gets built within yourself, now you understand on a different level that can help you more in life. Not only are you honest with yourself, you understand why this is so important for you to start growing and learning and to get uncomfortable. Your growth happens when you step out of your comfort zone, when you do things that are not original to you. When you try and explore new information, and when this information is so confusing to even learn. But see, here's the thing. You are not perfect on your first attempt. You are not great when you first believe. You are not as confident as soon as you start. See, when you're honest with yourself, you're able to identify what level and phase you are at. I can't be at the next person's phase because I don't know what phase I'm at. I haven't started. I haven't learned. I haven't experienced anything. So how can I compare myself to the next person when the next person has been doing and trying and being honest with themselves more longer than I've been? See, now you become understanding of the person that you are today because of the phase that you're experiencing right now. And it's so important to identify this. It's so important to be honest with yourself because there's a quote that says, if a man, I think I'm gonna butcher this, but the quote was so good. If a man stands for nothing, he falls for everything. If a man stands for nothing, he will fall for everything. Why? Because your value is put into the next person and you want the next person that's coming to your life to paint your picture for yourself. But how do you figure out your worth if you're not honest with the person that you are today? See, when you're honest with yourself, growing becomes inevitable because you can do the impossible. You can do the impossible. You can do the impossible. Why am I saying this? Because the impossible is something that we haven't learned. The impossible is something that we haven't experienced. The impossible is being comfortable, being uncomfortable. That's what's happening with our growth process. Your growth happens when you put yourself first and understand, like, okay, where am I at today? You're honest with yourself. You're honest with yourself because you want to grow. But you can only grow once you start realizing and recognizing where you are at today. And it only happens when you make the decision to change for the better. I knew I wanted more out of life, but I didn't know what more was because I was comfortable being in Little Rock, Arkansas. The day, the moment, the hour, the minute, the second, I felt I needed to leave and learn something new, I automatically put myself out there to meet people that would help me along the way. That's when I met my recruiter, my Marine Corps recruiter, tongue twister. That's when I met my Marine Corps recruiter, Staff Sergeant Staten. I think he is Staff Sergeant now, or Gunny, whichever the two. And he showed me, listen, it's not gonna be easy, but you can do it. Me and him sat down in Cheddar's, we was talking. And went through the whole process, the interview process, whatever the case is. And he was like, it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. I said, what you mean? It's not going to be easy. What you mean? He was like, it's not what you expect, but it's going to help you later on down in life. Then he got to talk about finances. Then he got to talk about him and his family. Then he got to talk about setting up his future. Then he got to talking about just him growing. But at the time, it was a lot of information to intake because you got to think about the process of interviewing a person. And then as you interviewing a person, you got to take the notes down. Then as you're taking the notes down, you got to remember all the information. As you remember all the information, you got to continue to do the paperwork. As you continue to do the paperwork, you have to continue to be in tune. So there's a lot that goes on with trying to find the right situation, the person that can help you grow. But what's so scary is the work that has to be put in order to connect with the person that can change your life. I'm gonna let that one sink in. Because I know it just went over your head, so I'm gonna say it again, if I can remember it. Most of us are not connecting with the right people because we're comfortable being where we are at today. I know that's not what I said. I can't remember exactly word by word what I said, but I know it was good. Just rewind it a couple minutes back and watch that little clip, watch that little video, because that was powerful. Our help comes from us putting ourselves out there. I was honest with myself. I needed to talk to an expert that understood how to change my life, how to change my situation, how to change my current circumstance. But your circumstance is not changing until you make a decision for yourself. See, what's happening is that let's just say hypothetically speaking, what if I had, when the thought came to me that I wanted to learn more, I needed to do more, I need to change. What if when the thought came to me, what if I pushed it back? What if I said it's not time for me to leave yet? What if I said I'm not good enough to leave yet? What if I said I don't know what this is, so I'm not going to do it? What if I would have said that? The answer to that, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, because I would have remained comfortable. I would have remained content. But I was honest with myself. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to the Marine Corps and gain some type of work experience. I'm gonna gain some type of work experience. That was my goal. That was my intention. I'm gonna start working my hands. I'm gonna start working with these bad boys. You feel me? Like, I'm gonna get it in. Excuse me, but little did I know that was not my calling. I went in for 3 jobs. Infantry, that's like the military combat. I think that's how you describe it. Motor T and cook. When I went to boot camp, they kept saying I'm a motor transportation operator. Meaning I'm a driver. I'm like, a driver? I thought I was gonna be a mechanic. But it worked out for the best for me, because I don't like working on cars. I know I don't like working on cars. I know it. So my calling was to drive the trucks instead of fix the trucks. And that's what I did. I drove the trucks instead of fix them. But I wasn't afraid to step out of my comfort zone to learn something new that I didn't even experience. I didn't know what I would be doing today was because I believed back in 2019. I believed in myself. I believed in something more. I believed in change and growth. But the growth only happened when I made my mind up to become honest with myself. But as I began to become honest, my growth started to happen slowly but surely. And as I'm taking baby steps to greatness, my greatness is not in front of me because I'm so used to being on the go. I'm so used to being comfortable. It's not even necessarily on the go. It's used to what you have been prone to, what you have been around your whole entire life. But I knew this change was gonna be better for me because I had to learn more about myself. I had to learn the value I can bring. See, when you're honest with yourself, you learn so much more than you expect. When you put yourself out there, you learn so much more. And it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes you being patient with yourself. But when you're patient with yourself, now you're really understanding why being honest is so important, because no one can ever take your value and or worth away from you, because you understand who you are as a person. You understand your value, you understand your worth, and you understand everything that you're working on in order to change your life. When you change your life, you begin to grow, you begin to learn, and you begin to understand why being honest with yourself is so important, because nobody, absolutely no one, can take your value away from you that you have built within yourself, because you have confidence, you have patience, and you are honest with yourself. Now, when all these are combined, you grow.